sorry, I'm laughing. What's going on? What is going on? What is going on? Y'all have to understand my excitement right now. If you don't, then this must be your first time being here. I'm just saying. So I'm super excited because this is my first official book chat. So I've been talking about this for a while. And it's happening. This is episode number 1. So I'm super excited right now. You have no idea. And that intro was fire. That intro was fire. So I got to give it up to M3. And I got to give it up to M3. I got to give it up to DJ Eddie King. I got to give it up to all y'all. So I'm super happy. Y'all have no idea right now. I'm over here laughing and over here trying to moderate at the same time. So okay, so let me read. Okay, so let me turn my phone off. Y'all don't need to do that. Oh, what's going on? What's going on, M3? Oh, I guess M3 ain't there. Never mind. Okay, so I'm just gonna read some comments before we get into this book, this amazing book that I've been talking about forever. Sophia Sarif, thank you for tuning in. Oh my gosh, thank you for tuning in. She says, okay, Marion, hello to you. So, okay, Marion is here and says, welcome to the live debut. Yes, the live debut. Yes, super excited. Y'all have no idea right now how excited I am. And my contact's buzzing at the same time. Okay, here we go. Let's see what else we got. Says Sophia Sherry says, first Lady Tammy, congrats on your debut. Oh, you deserve the world. Thank you. Thank you. And K. Marion is wishing First Lady good luck as she moderates, hosts, and critiques. Yes, I got a lot going on tonight. So y'all just bear with me. Bear with me, please, as my contacts decide to not to cooperate while I'm doing this. So yeah. So anyway, here we go. This is what happens when you wear hard contacts, y'all. Your eyes don't work like they need to. So Najee says, good evening, everyone. Please get the likes up. Yes, please get the likes up. Absolutely. And Princess Cassius, I am here. Oh, I'm so happy you're here. Thank you so much. I'm excited. This is going to be fun. Y'all are going to love what I got. Okay. Congrats. Okay, so thank you, So Touch of the Poet. So this is actually not my book, and I'm not really crying. My context is bugging me. So this is a happy moment, but I'm not crying. But so this is actually not my book. This is actually me reviewing books that I've read, that I'm going to read, and just telling you guys what I think about the book, recommending the book, all that kind of stuff. And I do have a link that I will post. So if you want to get on here and talk about the book, if you read the book, or if you got questions, oh yeah, that's all going to be included. So definitely here for it. So Arshawn Day, what's going on, Arshawn? Thank you for you got me over here just so emotional. So I'm super happy, and I want to get to this book. Those who would give up their we not going okay, okay, so yeah, see, this is why you gotta read the comments before you just post them, because people post crazy stuff. So whoever that was, we don't need that there. Thank you, but no thank you. Thank you, but no thank you. All righty, okay, so let's get to it. So yes, this is my first book chat, the first of many. This is not going to be this might be the first, but this will definitely not be the last. So definitely, I'm excited because this is something I've been wanting to do for a while. As you guys know, I read a lot of books. I'm a teacher, love teaching. And so as a teacher, there's books that I read, and there's books that I definitely want to tell you guys about so you guys can be aware and pick them up, because it might be something you're interested in. By the time I'm done talking about it, it might be a book you want to go out and get today. So I do have questions that I'm going to be responding to, but they're more questions about me just telling you about the book rather than just going off on a rant about what this book is about. So without further ado, let's get it cracking. Let's get it going. And Mr. Best in the World, gotta love that you are tuning in and seeing what I got going on. So thank you. And I will try to read comments. I'm having fun with this. Arshawn says, are you going to read the book? You know what, Arshawn? I actually will not read the book because it's a very thick book. If I look at how many pages are in here, there is over 400 pages. So if I was going to read the book, it would take me a while. So yeah, I'm not going to be reading the book, unfortunately. But I'm definitely going to tell y'all all about the books. So, and Knowledge and Relationship says you'll be up soon. And Arshon says, hey, Sophia Sharif says, thank you and appreciate all the support you give. I'm just glad to be thought of. So whatever you call me, I'll answer. That's beautiful. See, it's nothing but love over here on Knowledge and Relationships. Nothing but love. But anyway, I know y'all waiting to see about this book because every week I show y'all this book. And y'all probably wondering what the hell's going on. What is this book? She keeps showing us the cover. But we don't know what's going on. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the questions that I have and respond to the questions. And I'm going to do it that way because I feel like that's what we're going to do. But what I am going to post is what the feature book is. So it says at the bottom of the screen, and it's going, Lies My Teacher Told Me. This is the book. You guys know every week when I do my little thing where I say, you know, you can find me here, there, everywhere, I'm always showing this book. And so this is the very first book that I'm going to be talking about. This might need to be a part 2. I'm going to just keep it real. It might need to be a part 2 because this book has there's so much to unpack with this book. So there may need to be this might be part 1 and then next time it's part 2. So, and because I definitely don't want to leave out anything that I can tell you guys about this book, which makes this book so great. Because as you can see by what I'm saying, this is a good book. Definitely want to check it out. So, so what I have, what's going on? Oh, we have a guest. Hopefully the guest is going to stay.
What's going on,
Mr. Guest in the world? What is going on?
Chilling. You got to read you got to give him a little bit of the book, not the whole thing.
A little bit. I can read. I will do that. I will read a little bit from the book to give you guys a little bit of an idea about this book. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to unpack with this book. So, and that's to put it lightly. So, I don't think it's a book that a lot of people, I'd say, would even know about. I don't think this is a book a lot of people would know about because it's just not a book that you hear about. And I would think that's partly having to do with the title of the book. So the full title of the book, if you guys can see, is Lies My Teacher Told Me, Everything Your American History Textbook Got Wrong. Now, before I get into these questions I have, this is one thing I will say that I find interesting is we always talk about, especially as Black people, we always talk about how the history books don't have it right. There's things they leave out. And this book right here goes into detail in more ways than I think you could even think of and tells you some things that might even surprise you. So, so I will read a little bit of the book, not right this second, but I will read a little bit of the book so you guys can get an idea. So, and I got some quotes that I'm going to be giving y'all from the book. So anyway, so let me go ahead and get to my questions. And every week, these will be the same questions unless I decide to add more. But these are just kind of going to break down what I'm going to do. So my first question that I'm going to answer for you guys is why I chose this book. So originally, I actually didn't know anything about this book. The district I work for, they started doing book studies. And there's all different kind of books. And some of the books I'm going to be talking about on here, not today, of course, but at some other times. And so there was some books that I didn't necessarily think were a good fit, but when I saw this one, I found the title very intriguing in itself, just because when you think of a history book and everything you learn in your history class, a lot of people think that is 100% fact. Like, it's history. You tell them what happened in history. So a lot of times when you think of that, you think about this is about facts. This is about what really happened, what's really going on, when some of us know that's not really the case. So when you see a book that says Lies My Teacher Told Me, Everything Your American History Textbook Got Wrong, the title in itself is something that will intrigue you to see what the hell are they talking about? Like, what the hell did my history book get wrong? What kind of things is in here that ain't in my history book? So I read the book with the book study. I thought it was amazing. There are a lot of heavy things in there. There are a lot of times I would open the book and then I'd have to kind of take a minute to process what I read. And so I found the book to just be something that was very informative, very important, and something that's very needed. I mean, I almost wish that this was the book that you had in your history class and not the one that's actually in your history class. So,
Nah, it ain't gonna be that.
You said what?
I said they're not gonna put that in your history class.
Oh no. No, they're definitely not gonna put this in there because as one of the things it says in the book, there's a lot of heroification. I think I'm pronouncing that right in history books. So there's a lot of making it seem like America is just a lot of things that were done were great things, and people in the history books are great people, and they've done great things, and they could never do these negative things because that's just not what America is. And so the reality is that's just not the case. So even in the first chapter of the book, it talks about Woodrow Wilson and Helen Keller, and it talks about how they make it seem like Woodrow Wilson is just this really, really great president, and he's just so great, does so many really great things. And one of the things it says, which is interesting, is it talks about the fact that he is very racist. I mean, he was racist about racist upon racist upon racist. And it's interesting because it says that a lot of presidents that we've had have been racist, which, I mean, I wouldn't say you wouldn't think that, you wouldn't want to think that, but that's just the reality of America. America is a very racist country, and some people don't want to face that fact. Some people want to act like that's just not the case, but that is the case. And so you have this president who, there were positions, and these are things that I learned in this chapter, is that there were positions that were actually specifically for African Americans, and he got rid of the positions that were there. So you have it where they've tried, in the way they want to try, to allow Black people to do certain things, and then you have this person that comes and takes it away because he doesn't feel like that's important and that's needed. They talk about Helen Keller, how that there are so many things that she did, but she's not somebody who they want to highlight. They want to highlight somebody like Woodrow Wilson. So I find it very, very interesting because, I mean, when I was younger, I did a report on Woodrow Wilson when I was younger. There wasn't really anything negative I read about him. I had all kinds of great things to read about him and do my report on. So there wasn't really anything negative that I learned. And when it comes to a lot of the presidents that we have, when you do, I'd say, the basic research, and even if you try to do some in-depth research, there's not going to be a lot of stuff that makes that person look like a bad person. There's not going to be a lot of stuff that makes him look like a bad person. I mean, Thomas Jefferson, for instance, there's not going to be a lot of stuff that you can read unless you dig that's going to make you think that he's just, as horrible as he could be. We'll say allegedly. Can I say allegedly, or am I okay? Should I say allegedly? But I mean, yeah, there we go. Thank you. I mean, the fact that he was a slave owner, and some people don't know that. That he did have kids that are biracial. I mean, there's all these different things that you don't learn in your history book, because the history book is going to make it seem like America is this really great place, and there is no negativity attached to what America does. So I mean, there's a lot of quotes in here in the book itself that I think that are good ones that I want to read. So let me see what I can find in here. So I wanted to mark these off for you guys. So even there, it says there is a connection between racist presidential leadership and like-minded public response. To accomplish such education, however, textbooks would have to make plain the relationship between cause and effect, between hero and followers. Instead, they reflectively ascribe noble intentions to the hero and invoke the people to excuse questionable actions and policies. I'm going to read that one more time. It says, Americans need to learn from the Wilson era that there is a connection between a racist presidential leadership and like-minded public response. To accomplish such education, however, textbooks would need to make plain the relationship between cause and effect between hero and followers. Instead, they reflexively ascribe noble intentions to the hero and invoke the people to excuse questionable actions and policies. So when you hear something like that, it makes you want to dig deeper. Because when I hear that said they excuse certain things, I want to know everything that they excuse. I want to know the things they told you about and the things they didn't tell you about. So when we talk about why I chose this book, that is one of many reasons why I chose this book. This is a book that is needed. This is a book that if you have not picked it up, you haven't read it, this is something that you need to read. So yeah, let me get to some comments that are coming, and I gotta make sure I look at them because I don't need nothing coming through that ain't good to read. So let's see. So she stole my thunder. Thank you for tuning in. It says hello everybody. Always down for a good book talk. Yes, definitely. This is gonna be a good book talk. If you have not read this book, I'm gonna hold the book up a few times. If you had not read this book, and the title of the book is going across the bottom of the screen, including the author, definitely pick it up because I'm only going to give you a hint of what's in this book. There's going to be some things in here I'm probably not going to get to, but I definitely would want you to. So, and then if you decide you want to come on and chat about the book, you're definitely welcome to do that. So yeah, let me get to some more comments though. America takes pride in being the best country ever to live, even though it's not true. Absolutely. And that is one of the things that this book talks about, is that there's so much heroification in the history books. They want to make everybody look like a hero. I mean, even if you look at when they talk about slavery, if they talk about slavery in a textbook, they never really go into true detail. Because if they do that, it's going to make America look a certain kind of way. And God forbid America looks like a horrible place. God forbid they show you what the true nature of America is. So they're not trying to do all that. So let me see. I got to read these comments. Okay, so listening and working, enjoying this first of many book chats. Yes, great to hear from an educator. Thank you, blind guy, his wife, their life. Yes, y'all know I love to educate. I'm going to tell y'all about these books because some of these books people may not know about, but I guarantee you need to know about them. All righty, Mr. Best of the World. Want y'all to join the conversation. The link is there. I'm going to post it back up in a second. I just want to get to these comments real quick. So, Gator Girl, what is going on, Gator Girl?
Gator Girl, what's going on,
You
girl?
know I love you, girl. You so supportive, and I love you. I got to give you a kudos. She says, hey, just got in and said, a way to go, First Lady. Reading is fundamental. What is the book? Okay, so once again, I'm putting the book up here, and it is going across the bottom of the screen, and it's going to keep going. So I have it where it's going to keep going, and once it goes past, it'll go past again. But this is the book, Lies My Teacher Told Me, Everything Your American History Textbook Got Wrong. The author is James W. Lowen. And I looked him up. And so one of the things I'd like to do, y'all, is I want to get the authors of the books to come on my book chat. Don't play with me. Do not play with me. If I can locate the author, I'm going to get him on here and we're going to talk about it. This author I would have actually loved to have contact, but he passed away some years ago. So that's obviously not going to happen. But that don't mean we ain't going to get another author on here for another book. I'll tell you that. So, but yes, this is the book. So definitely go check it out. And she says, yes, she sees it scrolling. So yeah, definitely check it out. Okay, so let's see what else we got here. Gator Girl says, Nausea Relationships, peace, bro. And what else we got here? And salute. Oh, yes. I don't know what BGHWTL. So let me see if I can.
Blind guy, his wife.
There you go. Thank you. See, it's so nice to have you here, Mr. Best in the World. Gator Girl says, American exceptionalism is an absolute myth. Absolutely, I can definitely agree with that. So Sophia Shree says, she stole my thunder. I hope you're feeling better. Yes, if you are not feeling great, I definitely hope you are feeling better or going to get better. Yes, says we should have a book club and have a chit chat about the book once a month. Ooh, that sounds like a really good idea. I heard the hell out of that. And yes, hey, Marcus Rodriguez, what's happening? What's going on, Marcus Rodriguez? Thank you for tuning in. All right, let's see. OG Patrice! OG Patrice says, greetings and salutations. You know I love you. You know I love you. I'm so glad you're tuning in. Thank
Salute to
you.
OG Patrice. Salute, salute.
Thank you. And where'd it go? Okay, there we go. And then Marcus Rodriguez says, another relationship shout out to you at Best of More and at First Lady. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so let me go ahead and get back to my
Thank
lovely
you, Rookie. Thank you.
Oh wait, Rookie where? Rookie where? Did I miss something?
No, that's the rookie, Marcus Rodriguez.
Got it.
He's the rookie.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Okay, so once again, if you do not know what book I'm going to be discussing, it is going across the bottom of the screen. So, and it's going to keep going. So if you missed it the first time, you can catch it the next time. So, alrighty. So let me go ahead and get to my next question. Okay, thank you, OG Patrice. Let's get to learning. I heard that. Yes, we got a lot to learn when it comes to this book. All right, so what I'm going to do is I want to post the link so that if somebody would like to join, you are more than welcome to join. So let me see where the link is. Oh, there it is. Ba-boom. All righty, so I'm going to go to my next question. And it is, what are the highlights and lowlights of the book? What are the highlights and lowlights? So first of all, there are no lowlights. I'm gonna do that because that's the easier part of that question. Is there are no lowlights to this book. When I think of a lowlight, I would say something that kind of makes me question maybe the validity of the book, maybe it's something I really want to continue reading, maybe something that made me want to stop reading. But this book is definitely not having any of those kind of things. So there's no lowlights. Highlights of the book. Well, I like to read, so I like a book that has a lot of content. So for me, the fact that it has 400 some odd pages did not steer me away because I'm a reader. I like to read. I can't help it. But I think the highlights I would say are even something as simple as the titles of the chapters. So let's see. So the chapters are, it has Handicapped by History, the process of hero making. So like I said earlier, that's about making people in the history books heroes rather than who they really are. The Truth About the First Thanksgiving. Now y'all already know. Columbus didn't discover America. Y'all already know he didn't discover it. It was there long before. And there's a whole list in this book about who got there before he did. So let's just call that what it is. And then it has The True Importance of Christopher Columbus. It has Gone with the Wind, the Invisibility of Racism in American History Textbooks. Let me read that chapter title again. Gone with the Wind, the Invisibility of Racism in the American History Textbooks. So the reason why I'd say this is one of the chapters. I mean, there's a lot of chapters like this book. That chapter I really, really liked was just because of the fact that if you really take the time to think, racism isn't necessarily really discussed really in the textbook. I think they sometimes just brush over it to let you know it was there, but it wasn't really that big of a deal. They have the token African Americans in the history books, so they talk about Martin Luther King, they talk about Rosa Parks. They may or may not mention Frederick Douglass. I I don't think they mention Malcolm X. If they do, his name is thrown in there, but not really too much information about him. And Harriet Tubman, of course. You know, we all know about Harriet Tubman, but there's so many other people that are not discussed. There's so many things about the history of America that is not discussed, not told, not revealed, because once again, there's this heroification of the people in these history books. They want to make you think that they're all great, and they're just not. So let me go into this and read you guys something. Let's see. So I'm just going to read part of this, and bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. So I'm reading from the chapter "The Gone with the Wind." So the beginning of it says, "When was the country we now know as the United States first settled? If we forget the lesson of the last chapter for a moment, the Native Americans settled. The best answer might be 1526. In the summer of that year, 500 Spaniards and 100 black slaves founded a town, perhaps near the mouth of the Purdy River in present-day South Carolina. Disease and disputes with nearby Indians caused many deaths in the early months of the settlement." Let's see, it says, and I'm just kind of skipping through, you guys. So it says, "Perhaps the most pervasive theme in our history is the domination of Black America by white America. Race is the sharpest and deepest division in American life. Issues of Black-white relations propelled the Whig Party to collapse, prompted the formation of the Republican Party, and caused the Democratic Party to label itself the white man's party for almost a century. One of the first times Congress ever overrode a presidential veto was for the 1866 Civil Rights Act, passed by Republicans over the wishes of Andrew Jackson. Senators announced the longest filibuster in U.S. history, more than 534 hours, to oppose the 1964 Civil Rights Bill. Thomas Paine has shown how race prompted the sweeping political realignment of 1964 to 72, in which the white South went from a Democratic bastion to the Republican stronghold. Race still affects politics. George W. Bush won just 11% of the Black vote, but 57% of the white vote in 2004. That's just a snippet. That's just a snippet. That's just a snippet. Let me see what we got here. All righty. Okay, so let's see. Over the years, white America has told itself varying stories about the enslavement of Blacks. In each of the last 2 centuries, America's most popular novel was set in slavery. Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe and Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. The 2 books tell very different stories. Uncle Tom's Cabin presents slavery as an evil to be opposed, while Gone with the Wind suggests that slavery was an ideal social structure whose passing is to be lamented. Until the Civil Rights Movement, American history textbooks in this century pretty much agreed with Mitchell. So, once again, Mitchell is the one that is the author of Gone with the Wind. And it said, I'm going to read it again. Gone with the Wind suggests that slavery was an ideal social structure whose passing is to be lamented. And it says, until the Civil Rights Movement, American history textbooks in this century pretty much agreed with Mitchell. It says, in 1959, my high school textbook presented slavery as not such a bad thing. If bondage was a burden for African Americans, well, slaves were a burden on old Massa and old Miss too. Besides, slaves were reasonably happy and well fed. Such arguments constitute the Magnolia myth, according to which slavery was a social structure of harmony and grace that did no real harm to anyone, white or Black. Y'all, this
Tammy,
book.
can I talk?
Yes,
Can I talk about that
absolutely,
real quick?
absolutely.
Wow, and I think I think this rhetoric still is true to this day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that, uh, I think that the reason why that's happening is because they have told us that it's been okay to take the scraps from the table, right?
Mm-hmm.
They
Yep.
told us that, oh, the scraps are good enough, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And when we actually want to have more, and we feel like we should have equal value because we are human as well, so we just want to be treated as humans equally. It's always been
Mm-hmm.
told throughout the history the scraps are good enough. So because of that, because we've accepted that, we accept egregious behavior as well. You know what I mean? There's a
Mm-hmm.
certain YouTuber who uses an N word over and over again. You know what I mean? And Spotify didn't drop him. I'm not gonna say his name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. And when I looked at the responses from our people, I was disgusted because they kept saying, "Oh, why are you so concerned with him using that word? Why are you concerned with him using that word? We should be concerned about something else." And they've allowed us to accept the abuse, where no other community
Mm-hmm.
accepts the abuse. No other
Yep.
community accepts foul treatment as this is okay, as if it's okay. But that passage just really shows that. It really shows how we have been indoctrinated in our culture to accept abuse, accept being less, accept being treated badly, and then
Mm-hmm.
we can't complain about it because, oh no, actually you're treated well. You know,
Right.
it's the oppressor. You know what I mean? They're the one that's suffering,
Mm-hmm.
not you. You know what I mean? See the mind games
Mm-hmm.
that they play, and they've always played the same
Yep.
mind game. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Miss Best in the World. All right, let me get to some of these comments. Y'all are bringing the comments in. So Sophie Cherie says race definitely run politics. Absolutely, absolutely. I can definitely agree with that. Let's see. Blind guy, his wife, their life says, good idea on the monthly book club. We can sit still to read a book. Some people can't. Everybody's lives are so busy right nowadays. So if you're able to sit still and read a book, hey, that's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. So, and yes, so OGPG says, wow, a social construct. Yes. Wow is right. Yes. Yes. Arshawn says, I borrowed the book and never cracked it. He says, I'm Shaver. I've been reading this Robert Greene book and Carter Woodson this book. Oh, yeah. Tell me what books you're reading because, I can read and we could talk about it. Yes, if there's a book that you guys are reading that you think I should definitely check out, definitely let me know. I'll check it out. We'll talk about it. You can get on here and talk about it too. Yeah, it's interesting, Arshawn, because because this is a thick book. This is not no lightweight reading. This is a thick book, and there's so much information in the book. I think a lot of times as you're reading it, you might want to just pause, just to process. Well, even that what I read, that's something that you have to process after you hear it. So yeah, so even if you haven't cracked the book open, definitely, if you get a chance, crack it open. Even one chapter, even if you were to read one chapter at a time and just take your time with it, there's so much to unpack in it. So yeah. So all righty. And K Marion says, whoa, yes. um oop, Let me go back to that. So Sophia Cherie said, and it's sad that some blacks agree with slavery. Lord, yes, that is crazy that some agreed. It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, let's see what we got here. K. Marion said, Arshawn, is that similar to this? I'm not sure. Blind Guy says, thanks for the warm greeting, Sophia Sharif. These tall tales of history are a trip. Oh, you ain't lying. You are not lying. Knowledge Relation. I accidentally brought the book on Kindle, but I was trying to get the audio version because I'm always working with eyes on me. You know what? So what's interesting is, so for me, so I like an actual physical book in my hand. That's one thing I do like is an actual physical book. And so I got the audio version because sometimes I like to be doing things and I might have some music playing. And so I would have this book playing, reading to me while I'm doing stuff. So even when I'm driving, I would have the book playing in the car while I was driving. So, and I would have to remember what I read so I could highlight it, underline, because this book got a whole lot of that in it. So yeah, when you got eyes on you, you got to be very careful about the stuff that you read, because we got nosy people. So anywho, it says they actually rewarded him with a $108 million deal to leave Spotify to join their podcasting company. Okay, so I'm not sure who we're talking about. I'd love to know who you're talking about, though. Nodule relationship, would love to know.
We can't say his name. We can't say his name.
Oh, got it. Okay. We ain't gonna say the name. Whoever it was, they got a whole lot of money. So,
Salute to everyone in the
Arshawn
chat.
says,
Salute to K Marion, Arshawn, Dave, everybody.
yes. We want to salute everybody who's in the chat. All right, says, not really, but the Carter Woodson does talk about race. So yeah, can you drop the title of that book, please, Arshawn? I'd love to know what book that is. Says that company name is Rumble. Okay, and then Blind Guy's wife, no problem at all. Shout out to Coco, since we both have Coco. All right, so let's see what we got here. Oh, so Audrey Patrice says, I'm currently reading From Here to Eternity, Reparations for, Black Americans, 21st century. Okay. So you know what, OG Patrice? I'm going to get that book. I'm going to read that book. And then when I do that, OG Patrice, I want you on here with me so we can talk about that book. Her and anybody else who wants to pick up this book. Once again, if you can see, it is From Here to Eternity, Reparations for Black Americans in the 21st Century by Dr. William A. Darby Jr. and A. Kristen Mullen. Yes, you definitely want to pick up that book if you can. I'm going to pick it up so we can have some real other book chats. Got some people on to talk about books. But I want to welcome Queen. What is going on, Queen?
Not much. How you doing? I see you in the live.
You know I'm
ready to teach me. I'm ready to learn, First Lady.
Yes, and I'm loving it. Yes, I was just reading a passage out this book. It was kind of a heavy passage to process, but yeah. So we just over here discussing, people's commenting. OG Patrice is commenting. She gave a book that she's reading that I think I'm gonna definitely pick up. Because like I was telling everybody that if there's a book that someone is reading that they think would be a good book for me to discuss, definitely let me know what it is. I will pick it up. We can discuss it. I'll drop the link. You'll be able to get on here and talk about it with me. So yes, you can definitely join the party if you want to join the party. So yes, so all right. And we got Audrey Patrice.
Hey! Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. I'm excited. I can't wait because I'm going to order your book as well. I have heard about this book for years, and I used to be an avid I used to be an avid reader, and I just stopped like right before COVID because it seemed like the world stopped and so much was going on. So to be able to pick up this book that I'm reading now on reparations, because when I go around and sit on these panels, I want to know what the heck I'm talking about, and I'm getting so much education, but I'm really excited to learn, about this book. Absolutely. And you're like me. I need the hardcover. I need to feel the book in my hand. I'm old school. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. When my daughter was younger, I took her to the bookstore because they were reading books, and I was all excited until I seen they were playing the book on the TV. And I was kind of upset. I'm like, you ain't got nobody that can read the book, have the book in your hand, turn the pages. So we just so focused on technology, we can't even do it the old school way. So I was kind of upset about that. So, but yeah. So, but I do want to give kudos to my district, the district I work for, because that's how I found out about this book. I'd never heard of the book before, ever. And I found out about the book because when the whole George Floyd thing happened, we had a meeting, and we started talking about equity and race and all these different things. And so I'm on all kinds of different panels and boards and all kinds of things with my district. And they wanted to do a bunch of book studies. I mean, there's a bunch of different books I've done. There's a book they had called White Fragility. Why are white people afraid to talk about race? That was a good book. That was a really good book.
I
And
heard
there
of
was some
that
things,
book too, Tammy. I heard of that one
yeah,
too.
yeah, that one was good. There was some things in there that I was like, I was like, okay, I can see the thinking. Not that I agree with the thinking, but I can see the thinking. And there was another book, We Want to Do More Than Survive. It's either we want to do more than just survive or we want to do more than survive. That was another book that I read. That one was a really, really good one. So yeah, so there's all these different books that I'm definitely going to come on here and talk about. And I'm not just going to talk about books that are about race. I don't want everybody thinking like, dang, is that all you're going to talk about? No, but there are significant books that a lot of people have never heard of, and they need to hear about them. They need to pick them up. They need to read them. They need to talk about it. So if that's what it
Have
takes for
you
y'all
heard
to get
of
to, go ahead.
Have you heard of the 1619 project?
No, no.
Oh, yeah. Check that one out too.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna check that one out too. I'm gonna check that one out too. That one that you're reading, I want to pick that one up because when I do, I want you to come on and then we can talk about the books. So yeah, I'm gonna pick that one up. I'm gonna pick that one up. So
Okay,
yeah,
sounds
because
good. I ordered it on Amazon. That's pretty much where I've been getting all of my books lately. So, but yeah, that's why I got it from Amazon in case anybody's interested. So,
okay, I definitely will check that out. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We got a helicopter going around. So okay, so I'm so glad you're on here. I'm so glad Queen is on here. OG Patrice, did you get a chance to hear what I read from the book?
the part that you just read about
Yeah.
Gone with the Wind and what's the other movie?
Um,
What?
the other one was it was Uncle Tom's Cabin and Gone with the Wind.
Yes, yes, I did. I heard
Okay,
that. Hmm.
so what are your thoughts about that? About what I read?
Um, you know, knowing more now what I know and educating myself so much more about our Black history, I'm not surprised
Mhm,
that a lot of
mhm,
our history was misinterpreted, misconstrued, not told to us, hidden from us, twisted, pretty much. A lot of credit was given to people that it shouldn't have been given credit to, but just the whole acceptance of knowing that based off of a movie and something that someone wrote that slavery was more of a social construct, and that's the
mhm,
way pretty much is a part of conditioning that has been passed down to us. Yeah, I'm not surprised
mhm,
at all because this whole thing about the situation with what Mr. 84 just mentioned, prime
mhm,
example of this is the reason why I get so riled up, and then I said I talk all the time about our people. We don't have a code, and we need to get on code because we know we
right.
don't have no power when it comes to something like that situation with him. We don't have the power. But guess who we did have the power to cancel? And we canceled this young lady. And a lot of people don't realize this. And her career has never been the same. And that's because we don't stay on code, because we get mad and we get in our feelings. But we canceled
Mhm,
Chrisette Michelle. We did, as Black people,
mhm,
canceled another Black woman. And I want us to really ponder on that and just to think about how we need to get on code when it
right.
comes to us protecting each other.
Mhm. Thank you, OG Patrice. I always love your input. I do. I always love your input. Okay, so I'm gonna read another part of this book. And Queen, you're there, right, Queen? Are you there, Queen? You're
Yes, I'm
muted.
here.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I'm
Okay.
here.
So, yes. No, you're fine. So I want to read another part of this book, and I want to get everybody's thoughts on this. So is this in the same chapter? Yeah, this is in the same Gone with the Wind chapter. So it says the emotion generated by textbook descriptions of slavery is sadness, not anger. For there's no one to be angry at. Somehow we ended up with 4 million slaves in America, but no owners. This is part of a pattern from textbooks. Anything bad in American history happened anonymously. Everyone named in our books made a positive contribution, It says, except John Brown. And it says, and when she analyzed textbooks in 1979, says, in all history, there is no known case of anyone creating a problem for anyone else. What are your thoughts on that, Queen?
Because we don't control the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's sad because it's not like we knew these things, you know, back when these, you know what I mean? Like, we're finding out more stuff now, you know, stuff is constantly being taught to us. But could you imagine if this stuff was taught to us originally, like when I was in school, like, or when my parents were in school, like, so I think it's sad. I mean, I don't really have words for it, but it's true because everyone's painted as this hero, this great guy, and what were we? Free labor, free sex partners, you know, free nannies.
Right.
So,
Thank you, Queen.
nursing other people's kids. That's crazy. That's the craziest thing.
Thank you, Queen. What about you, Audrey Patrice? What do you think about what I read?
I'm sorry, I got a phone call, so I had to you take another phone call. Can you kind of repeat a little bit? Just give me a short synopsis of what you read.
Okay, so pretty much it was saying that so I'll just read it real quick. It wasn't a lot that I read, but it says the emotion generated by textbook descriptions of slavery is sadness, not anger, for there's no one to be angry at. Somehow we ended up with 4 million slaves in America, but no owners. This is part of a pattern in our textbooks. Anything bad in American history happened anonymously. Everyone named in our history books made a positive contribution. And in all history, there is no known case of anyone creating a problem for anyone else. And that was a quote from somebody named Francis Fitzgerald. What are your thoughts on that?
Wow. It's so overwhelming without saying too much. Again, it just goes back into the very fiber of our being and in the DNA of America. And it's really sad today that we still have people today that think that forms of suppression and supremacy doesn't exist, but it does. It's just in a subtle different form or way, but it's still there, and it still reaps in a lot of systems, right, that we utilize every day in our lives. And when it comes to things like what's going on now and what's happening now is a prime example of that. So for me, I've been on it. I've been, you know, in the entertainment industry. I've seen things. I've had, I've known things to happen to be done. But I guess because sometimes people think it don't affect them directly, sometimes they are totally oblivion, or they act totally oblivion to it. And a lot of people just don't want to face it and address it. Sometimes you won't hear people not utter a mumbling word about any type of oppression, any type of systemic racism, any type of anything. And for me to be silent is just as bad as not saying anything at all. It's just as well as someone that totally denies it, to me, in my humble opinion. But I'm just interested to listen in more because I already know probably anything you're going to say, I'm not going to be surprised at.
Thank you, Audrey Patrice. Thank you. Mr. Best in the World, what are your thoughts?
Hold on, let me throw my headset on. Hold on.
Okay. No problem.
Just don't want to have an echo. Shout out to Queen, shout out to Audrey Patrice. I think that, these are things that we can't be surprised that we hear. You know what I mean? Because there's things that's been going on for a minute. So I think that a lot of times, once those things are revealed and they're exposed, and we can see it as clear as day, you know, it makes a difference. You know what I mean? So I think that's why reading and education is so important, so that we can actually know what's actually going on within our history. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, you know, the old narrative goes, if you want to hide something from a black person, put it in the book. You know, so you know what I mean. That's the old narrative. So with that being said, we got to really realize that when they wanna take away from us, or they don't want us to know things, you know what I mean, they'll put it in ways where they feel like we're not gonna understand the resources or get the resources. And I think that what OG Patrice is doing, shout out to what OG Patrice is doing with ADOS, what Queen is doing, you know, with her business and stuff that she's trying to do. What you doing, Tammy, as far as you educating the youth, educating
Thank
yourself,
you.
is huge. You know what I mean?
Oh my
Because
God. Yes, it is. Thank you so
like,
much.
you're welcome. And I mean, I wish more men would step up and do that as well. You know what I mean? Because you know, men we looked at as leaders, and I think sometimes we don't get that. You know, and sometimes with men,
They
I
don't
can speak
want
for
to.
myself.
84. They too busy in gender
Yeah.
wars. They don't want to.
Yo, OG Patrice, I love that you said it, OG Patrice, because I think that yes, it is that they're too focused on, you know, going back and forth. Like, I was watching the stream earlier today, and it was a debate of somebody sharing their narrative of what somebody should do as far as how they should date and how they should move around women. And I'm like, at this point, you know, can't we just all agree to just live our life the way we want to live it and move on? You know what I'm saying? You know, some people are doing monogamous, some people are doing poly, some people are doing whatever they're doing. Let's move on. We got bigger problems than than who you trying to sleep with. We got way bigger problems than that. Way bigger problems than that. You know what I mean? We got to get off the gender war stuff. And when we start really dealing with our real problems, the real poverty in our community, you know what I mean, we start really dealing with, you know, the real traumas that we face. You know what I mean, whether it's through the crack epidemic, through us having PTSD, through slavery, through so many different things. We start really dealing with the real things, our mental health, everything else. You know what I mean? Then we can have that discussion. But that other discussion, to me, it's just a waste of time. We're wasting time, and time is not to be wasted. So, you know what I mean? It's, you know, us as men, we got to stop wasting time on things that don't matter, and we talk about things that do. You know what I mean? So yeah. You know,
Thank you.
I'd rather talk about sports than this gender war stuff. Honestly, I'd rather talk about anything, sports, video game. I can't do the gender war thing no more. I'm done.
Thank you, Mr. Best in the World. Thank you, OG Patrice. Thank you, Queen. Okay, so let me get to my next question that I have. And my next question was, what surprised me about this book? So I could say nothing surprised me about the book. I could say that. Nothing surprised me about the book, but I was still disturbed by what I read. So I wouldn't say it surprised me. It bothered me to read, and I wanted to read it. Even if it bothered me, I still wanted to read it because I felt like it needed to be read. But yeah, so I wasn't surprised. I think I was just bothered because you know what it's saying is true, but it's just the capacity of what is discussed is a bit mind blowing. I mean, even when it talks about American Indians and just the way that they were treated. So I will say one thing, and I wish I could find the exact reading here, but one of the things it says is that so when Columbus was over there, when they wanted to take control over the tribes, and the Indians wouldn't give up their tribe, or they didn't want to be on his side or whatever it was, they would kill any and everybody until they did. And it wouldn't matter if it was men, women, children, it didn't matter, because they wanted to have power. They wanted to take over. And that's a lot of times, one thing I read in the book was that a lot of the wars, and because there were Indians that were also slaves, a lot of the wars and all this was because if you did not agree with slavery and all that kind of stuff, they wanted to get rid of you because you didn't agree, because you didn't think what they were doing was right. Now their job is try to eliminate you. So a lot of the times, the wars that they had back then was because they wanted that to be there. They wanted slavery to be there. And if you didn't want that, then now we got to fight. Now we have a problem. So I found it interesting because when you read about the wars in the history books, they don't make it seem like that's what it's about. They make it seem like it's about something else, when in reality, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact we want this institution to stay. And if you don't,
that's what the Civil War was about, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And I really believe a lot of people they think it's something else. I don't know why they don't. Yeah.
So one other thing that surprised me. So in the book, so I know y'all have heard the song Yankee Doodle Dandy. If you've never heard that song, you can say you ain't never heard the song.
Yes. Yankee Doodle Dandy.
So in this book, it talks about how in 1864 they sang a different version, and it was titled the New National Anthem, N-word Doodle Dandy.
Wait, what? Say that again.
So it says, a favorite in 1864 was sung to the tune of Yankee Doodle Dandy, and it was called the New National Anthem, N-word Doodle Dandy.
So the N-word is a word that rhymes with trigger?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And it has, I'm not going to read the lyrics because I'm just not going to do that. But I would say that I would say surprised me, just because a lot of people heard of Yankee Doodle Dandy, but I don't know anybody who's heard of this version that was sang to the tune of Yankee Doodle Dandy. So, and the paragraph says, in these days before television, parties held coordinated rallies. On the last Saturday before the election, Democratic senators might address crowds in each major city. Local office holders would hold forth in smaller towns. Each of these rallies featured music. Hundreds of thousands of songbooks were printed so the party faithful might sing the same song coast to coast. A favorite in 1864 was sung to the tune of Yankee Doodle Dandy, the new national anthem, N-word Doodle Dandy. So there weren't a lot of things that surprised me in this book, but I could say that right there, I was very surprised about. That right there.
I'm familiar with the song, but I'm not familiar with that version. So yeah, that's a surprise to hear that. It's like you're surprised, but not surprised, right?
Right. Exactly. Perfect words. Yes, surprised, but not surprised. So, and like I said, this is a thick book. That's getting into chapter 6 of the book. There's about 11 chapters in this book. I mean, let me see what other chapters. So they have Watching Big Brother, What Textbooks Teach You About the Federal Government. See No Evil, Choosing Not to Look at the War in Vietnam. Down the Memory Hole, The Disappearances of the Recent Past. Progress is our most important product. Why is history taught like this? What is the result of teaching history like this? So there's a chapter that says the invisibility of anti-racism in American history textbooks. This book, I mean, if I was really going to go all the way to this book, this book chat might last for a whole lot longer, but I don't, the thing is, I don't want to tell too much of the book, because then it's like, I want people to read it and read the parts that I haven't mentioned, based on what I've already read. I want that to make you want to read the book. But let me get to the next. So I'm not going to answer this only because I did read some quotes that I thought were very interesting. I wouldn't necessarily say I had a favorite quote, but I do read some that were very interesting, that people got to respond to. So I really appreciate you guys' response to that. And then would I recommend this book? Why or why not? In short, absolutely, I would recommend this book. Why is because I feel like this is a book that needs to be read. It's a book that needs to be read. It's a book that needs to be discussed. I feel like a lot of people may not even know that this book exists. And then there's some people that may know the book exists, but have never read it. Like Arshawn said, he had borrowed the book, but he never cracked it open. So, and that's the thing is that even if the title is intriguing, that may not necessarily make you want to read it because maybe you're busy, maybe you're scared of what you're going to read, but there's so much in this book that
Miss First Lady Tammy, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
As an educator, in your opinion, in your humble opinion, as an educator in the school system, knowing that they are not allowing CRT to be taught, knowing that, how important is it to you as an educator that our African American students, young and old, learn about their history that wasn't taught in the school system past Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, in your humble opinion?
I think it's extremely important because I feel that a lot of the African American students are misguided. Even at the school that I work, there's majority of the students are not African American. I'm the advisor for BSU at my school. So BSU, we talk about different things. But I feel like there's so much that they don't know. And I almost feel that some of them don't know that they don't know. And that's the problem. That I said before that there's the token Black people that we discuss. There's Harriet Tubman, and then you have Rosa Parks, you have Martin Luther King, and you have all these different people, but then you have others that are not discussed and the kids don't know. So even for Black History Month, for example, all of the BSU students, each person created a collage of an African American. And I had a couple of the token African Americans that you hear about, but majority of the people that they were doing collages about were people that they had never heard of. They'd never heard about Sojourner Truth. They'd never heard about Emmett Till. They'd never heard about Charles Richard Drew. They'd never heard about Jane Boland. They'd never heard about all these different people. And it was just interesting because they got to learn about who these people were. Even Frederick Douglass. I mean, some of them had never even heard about Frederick Douglass. And I actually talked to them a little bit about that because I used to work for a charter school that their mission statement, and excuse me for smiling, it's not a smile that, I think when you have a mission statement, you should make sure that you match what your mission statement says. But their mission statement is to close the African American achievement gap, which I think is a great mission statement to have. But make sure you are meeting the needs of all the students that you have and not allowing students to slip through the cracks because they do not meet that high standard that you have. But one of the things I will say is that they read the book about Claudette Colvin, which I think was really, really good. And they also read the autobiography of Frederick Douglass. Now, when we had BSU, I was telling the students about Frederick Douglass. I was telling them about the fact that his mother saw him a really short amount of times in his lifetime, that she would visit him. I think it was like 11 or 12 hours it would take for her to go to where he was, and she would only be able to see him at night, and she would have to get back over to her plantation before the sun came up. Otherwise, it was going to be all bad for her. I told them about the fact that there was an overseer that he loved torture. When he whipped you, he didn't stop until he was tired. If he wasn't tired, he kept going. And even seeing the blood was not going to stop him. And when I'm telling the kids this stuff, the look on their faces is they're in disbelief about this stuff that I'm telling, because these are things that they've never heard. And it could be because maybe their parents are not aware of certain things. You know, even the parents haven't been taught these things, so they don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they know that there's some African Americans that you don't hear about, but some people don't take the time to learn. And I think that it's important because of the fact that most people are not going to take the time to find the information. They're not going to take the time to do that because the reality is a lot of people are selfish. They're only concerned about themselves. And sometimes they don't want to know, because when you know, when you find out, that leaves more questions, that gives you answers that you may not have wanted to have. So I think that it's important because these kids need to know their history. They need to know everything that there is to know. I think the parents need to know. I think the parents need to be in school just like the kids do. And the thing about it is, when we're just looking at these history books, there's so much information that needs to be in there that is not in there. And one of the things I like in this book is it talks about the fact that the things in the history books, a lot of it is just assumptions about things or people's ideas about things. It's not necessarily really based on fact. Not a lot of it is not based on fact. It's based on opinions and assumptions. And so I think that, you know, CRT is extremely important. You know, when you have districts or schools that don't want to teach it or don't see the significance of it, that in itself should tell you how important it is and how badly it's needed. So as an educator, I definitely think that's something that needs to be taught in every school. You know, and I think that if there's an opportunity for the adults to be able to have, you know, a class of their own where they can learn that, I think that's much needed as well. So I definitely think it's extremely important. So
Thank you for answering.
oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So yeah, so as far as recommending this book, yes, absolutely, I would recommend this book. This book, like I said, is needed to be talked about. It's needed to be discussed. It's needed to be read. It's needed to be put out there. And you know, like Mr. Besson said, they're not going to put the information here. They're not going to put it in the history books. And so this is the thing, is that this is a book that they don't want you to read because they don't want you to know. They don't want you to know what's really going on. They don't want America to be painted in a picture of what America really is. So that's why you have it where people say, oh, you know, I can't believe this happened. This would never happen. It's not like that. Well, you know, this is then and that was then and this is now, as if to say that what happened then is not impacting what's happening now. So this book, yes, I highly recommend this book. Without a doubt, I recommend this book. So yeah, so there is no why not. There's more of why I'd recommend this book. So yeah, so just so you guys know, my book chats, I don't plan to keep my book chats as like hour long, well, more than an hour. I can, but it just depends on the book. So, but I just have one more question, and then I'm gonna allow Audrey Patrice and Queen and Mr. Best in the World to tell you guys, give you guys their social media and all that kind of stuff. But so the next book I'm going to be going over is this book. This book. So this book it's called Blind Spot, and it's about the hidden biases of good people. So this is another book that my district did for a book study. I think this is a very, very interesting and important book. I'm going to be going over this one the next time, but then after that, and I don't have a list of all the books I'm doing, but I think after that I may, if I've gotten the book that you're reading, Audrey Patrice, then I would more than likely do that one after this one, because I want to do it as soon as I've read it so it can be fresh and be discussed. So
Okay.
so yeah. So
That
I'm
one
going to be
sounds
doing
good
this
too.
one.
Yeah, that one sounds good
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So this is one that I definitely am gonna be going over. I'm going to be reviewing it, giving you guys a little tidbits about the book, and let you guys know what it's all about. Before I do anything else, let me go to some of the comments. I haven't gotten to the comments yet. I apologize. Master Duck, he commented, Master Duck, I'm so glad to see you. I ain't seen you in a long, long time. He says, if they name slave owners, then their heroic myths about the founding fathers would fall apart. Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. And he says, oh, my hair looks great. Thank you. It needs to be redone, but thank you very much.
Your boy
I
Master Duck, he
appreciate
back
that.
for you.
Thank you very much. What did you say, Miss Best in the World?
Your boy Master Duck, he back for you right on time. He right
He's
on
back.
time.
You know, he's back. He's back. K. Marion says, oh, California Surgeon General Dr. Nadine Burke Harris is a woman, of African descent, appointed by California Governor Gavin Newsom over 3 years ago. Okay, nice. Yes, y'all can feel free to go ahead and post any African American facts that you would like. Absolutely. Blind Guy, his wife, their life says, ha, I just said goodnight to my Coco at Sophia Sharif. And Master Deck says, America, non-Black Americans won't look at the founding fathers as heroes and not accept them as slave-owning rapists.
Be careful with that last word. Be careful with the last word.
Yes. We'll add allegedly to that. We'll add allegedly to that.
No, just say grapists. Grapists.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you, Audrey Patrice. Thank you. Yes, we definitely don't wanna get deleted or anything like that for sure. Okay, so Cameron says Francis Scott Key Fitzgerald was an American novelist, essayist, short story writer, and screenwriter. He was best known for his novels depicting the flamboyance and excess of jazz term he popularized. Interesting.
Didn't Francis Scott Key write the Pledge of Allegiance or something? Wasn't that written by Francis Scott Key?
I think it was either that or
America the Beautiful. Let me look it up. I'll look it up right quick.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Let us know. OG Patrice, let us know. Okay, so Thea says it's a bit painful because so many Blacks simply jumped off the boat to not deal with these inhumanities. Having knowledge enlightens and gives opportunity for discussion. Not knowing is where the problem is. Absolutely. Oh, this was something else that was in the book, I will say. So one of the things said that they would throw people would jump off the boats. Like she said that it said, and it was talking about not just African American Blacks, but also Indians would jump off the boats. It said that it got to the point that there were so many people that were either thrown off the boat or jumped off that you could have walked across their bodies to the land. That's how many bodies were thrown overboard or jumped over, that you could have walked on their bodies and not even touched the water. That right there is a lot. It's a lot. So, okay, so no, that's accurate. Master Deck, yes it is. Okay, and then Sophia Sheree says, and we need to learn more than Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King Jr., and Malcolm X. No disrespect to these leaders, but being Black is so much more. Absolutely, yes. That's why when we did the BSU project, I didn't want to do just the token African American people that you learn about. I wanted the kids to learn about people that they probably have never heard of. So, like I said, that's why there were some people that they were familiar with, but there was a lot more that they were not. So, yeah, like W.E.B. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, George Washington Carver, all these different people that these students had no idea who they were.
James Baldwin.
James Baldwin, all these different people. And so at my school, we have the collages around the school. And they had somebody from the district come out to interview some of the BSU students and myself about the collages that the students did. And then we're also doing a Black History Month art contest. And so I had a couple of students that submitted some art, and the contest isn't going to be over till next week. But I'm excited about that because the art that's come in has been so beautiful, and the students have really been putting in a lot of work. And that's not the BSU students that have done those. Those are other students around the school, which we definitely appreciate. So, but it's nice to have that space where students, so the African American students can feel like they're around people that look like them and go through some things that they go through. So, yeah, not that I'm trying to toot my own horn, but every now and then you got to toot your own horn. Just saying, you got to toot your own horn. All righty. Okay, so let's see. K. Marion says allegedly MLK Jr. spoke more about the Vietnam War publicly. Interviews still publicly. The interview still exists, which allegedly is why he was killed, not for his optimism. Very interesting.
You gotta say delete it. Delete it.
Oh, oh yeah, thank you. Thanks, see, OG, please. Thank you very much. Thank you
I'm
very
looking
much.
out, girl, for these algorithms. We don't want to get striked.
Right, right. No, I definitely appreciate that. Yes, I do. Okay, Sophia says, have a blessed PM family, everyone. I refuse to doze. Also, I catch the replay at Kmara, my sister and daughter. Oh, I love that. I love that. All righty. Okay, so then we have Dominique Anthony. Thank you for tuning in. Says, big up at Nausea Relationships. Salute to the lovely panel and peace to the chat. All righty. NBC News interview where King said his dream had become a nightmare in his own words. Very interesting. All righty. So yeah, so we're going to once I get through these comments, y'all, we're gonna close it out. Says it's a 5-hour book chat. Don't be stingy. I love it. No, you know, it could be a five. Don't play. Don't play. It could be a 5-hour book chat at one point. It will be. I'm looking forward to that book that OG Patrice has got, because that might end up being a 5-hour one. I know it's gonna be. I know it's a good book. I know it's a good book, and I haven't even read it yet. All right. Arshawn says blind spot. That concept sounds compelling. I had that issue. I thought I was good. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. So yeah, this book, I'm telling you, this book is a good book. If you have not bought the book, definitely go get it. The author is Mazarin R. Ben. Ooh. Let me just put it up here, because that was a little bit hard for me to say. So that's the author. That's the author, y'all. All righty. Okay. Okay. Oh, and then, okay, thank you, OG Patrice. So the Star Spangled Banner. Yes, yes. I had a feeling that's who it was that wrote the Star Spangled Banner. Thank you for that. Thank you for looking that up. We appreciate it. All righty. And lastly, it says, K. Marion says he was named after a famous ancestor. Francis Scott Key Fitzgerald was born in Saint something. The two were only distantly related. Key was a second cousin 3 times removed. All righty. Okay, so other than that, you guys, I am going to allow people to shout themselves out. We're going to close it out, and I'm going to say my last goodbyes. So anyway, we're going to start, and I'm a spotlight people. I like spotlighting people. So I'm going to start with, not me. We'll start with Queen. Go ahead and shout yourself out, Queen.
Hey guys, Queen Forever 2K here in the book chat with Tammy, First Lady Tammy. Shout out to First Lady Tammy. Hey, hey, hey. You can follow me on Instagram at Queen Forever 2K. You can see me on Knowledge and Relationships, and you can see me in these YouTube streets because I pop in, I tip out, get my 2 cents, and I go back to sleep. And I didn't have much to share because I couldn't read the book because the person who had the book in my house kept it for himself, and then I couldn't read it. So I'm a little upset, but that's okay. I'm going to get my own blind spot. I'm going to get my own book. And on that note, I'm out.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you. Mr. Best in the World. Are you there?
Go to OG Patrice. Go to OG Patrice.
Okay, I got you. All righty, OG Patrice.
Hey, this your girl, OG Patrice. I am so happy that Miss Tammy is doing this. I can't wait. I'm excited. Thank you for allowing me to come up and have the discussion and talk about the book and our history. And just, I'm looking forward to going along with it and getting educated as well on this. And salute to the chat, y'all. Let's get ready and learn more about our history, what they're not teaching us, the misconception, the hidden truths. Let's get ready to learn and teach our children and our children's children. We have to pass it down because it's not going to be revealed to us probably any other way. So I just appreciate you guys supporting Lady Tammy, and shout out to Knowledge and Relationships as well for always allowing me to come on a platform and give my opinion and views. I appreciate it.
Anytime,
Much love.
TT.
Much love. I love my peoples.
Anytime.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
OG Patrice. We love you.
Right back at you. Right back at you.
Alrighty, Mr. Best in the World.
Thank y'all for joining Knowledge and Relationship Experience. We truly appreciate y'all. Thank you for all the content creators that jumped on. Truly appreciate y'all as well. Alshon Dave, Sophia Sharif, K Marion, Dominique Anthony, everybody that's in the chat, everybody that's in the comments who supported. We truly appreciate y'all. And this is the first of many of First Lady Tammy's book club. You know what I mean? Check her out. She here. She doing her thing. You know what I mean? First Lady Tammy, take it away.
Well, we have come to the end of my very first book chat. I'm so thankful to OG Patrice, Queen, Mr. Best in the World, for coming on here and being a part of the discussion of this amazing book. Once again, I'm gonna put it up here. This amazing book that if you have not gotten it, you definitely want to. And then for the next book that I'm going to be going over is this one, Blind Spot, Hidden Biases of Good People. So that's going to be the next one that we are going to discuss on the next book chat. Thank you so much for everybody in the chat that was tuning in. If you have not liked or subscribed, please do so and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified on everything that we are doing. But I am First Lady Tammy. I'm here on Mondays. I'm here on Thursdays. I'm here on Saturdays. And I'm here Tuesdays when I do my book chat discussion. And I'm also on Instagram at First Lady Tammy 916. So, so other than that, I'm super happy that everybody came to my lovely first book chat. First of many. This will not be the last. This might be the first, but it is definitely not going to be the last. So thank you for tuning in. I will see you guys next time.
Bye.